So I did an instant reaction video last night, only a few minutes, just to kind of give my obviously instant views of the game as I saw it last night. But I thought today I might just kind of reflect on it a little bit to see whether I felt any different. No, I don't really. I guess I don't really feel any different about it than I did last night. But it has softened my feelings about it a little bit, because I kind of get, well, let's look at it from the positive point of view, right? Let's try to be positive about it. We did win the game. We are through to the next round. So that's the positive, right? We're still in it. We're still in the competition and so on. Ndombele got a 90-minute run out. He looked fairly decent still. Looked a lot leaner and a lot stronger than he has for the time that he's been there. And I personally have championed him quite a bit. I know a lot of fans want to give up on him, but I've quite championed him a little bit, because I do rate him. I do think he's got a lot about him. He's strong, he's quick, he can pick a pass, and maybe he just needs to acclimatise. Maybe he just needs to feel, you know, that he belongs. Maybe he just needs to fit in with the team a little bit more. You know, maybe he has had an injury that's been niggling at him that he didn't, you know, that they can't really get to the bottom of. Because, you know, let's face it, sometimes we all feel a bit under the weather, or we all think, oh, I just never seem to get any better. I mean, I know personally, whenever I get ill, and I don't get ill very often, touch wood, I'm quite a lucky guy. I don't get too many ailments. But whenever something goes wrong, I do kind of find that it drags on, and it kind of, you know, one thing leads to another. You know, you get a bit of a cold that'll then lead to you know, an eye infection or a nose infection or a throat infection. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So maybe he has had some recurring muscle injury or something like that that's just kept him down. It can't really fix. It's just not working right. And maybe now it's kind of coming to an end for him. So I do think that, you know, may well be a positive. Again, Lamela, you know, again, he's not everyone's favourite cup of tea, but he is the kind of player that you think, you know, he's quite good to have in your squad. Someone who can come in, do a bit of shithousery and kind of stir it up and pull out an odd goal here and there. You know, very rare, I know, but every so often he'll pull out a goal that you need or whatever. And I thought he looked quite bright yesterday. He did okay. You know, he took his goal well, and he worked quite hard. I don't think we can do a review without talking about Dele Alli. And I guess it could be a subject for a whole bloody video, to be honest. But Dele Alli, as frustrated as fans are with him, I personally think it would be an absolute tragedy if he left Tottenham. I really do. You know, I think he is a real talent. And to see him go off somewhere else and fulfil his potential somewhere else, I'd be gutted, to be honest with you, because he's another one who I think he's hugely talented with so much to offer. If you can just get it out of him, if you can just, you know, really make it happen, you know. So, you know, it might not. You know, the reality is it might not. He might carry on doing what he's doing and never really fulfil his potential. There's plenty of players that do that. I mean, David Bentley springs to mind, who had so much potential and never really achieved the heights that you would have expected him to, you know, at that time. So, you know, maybe he never will. But when people say, you know, well, I'll trade him in while his stock's high and all the rest of it, well, personally, I don't think his stock is high. I think his stock's probably fairly low at the moment because everyone's saying that he's not performing. So, you know, I don't think it's really the time to sell. You know, and I personally think he's got, you know, something to offer. I mean, if you've watched the All or Nothing programme, one of the things you might notice out of that programme is that he did really well when Jose took back over, and after he did that famous, you know, are you Dele Alli's brother kind of thing. I mean, he was instrumental in the wins that we did have. the difficulty is, as Jose has alluded to, he doesn't maintain the consistency, and that's really the issue that they need to resolve. But again, I think, you know, last night you could tell he was working, he was trying. He just, you know, maybe not coming off as well as he wants to. You know, I mean, you know, he's full of flicks and tricks. He needs to maybe cut that out and just concentrate on trying to do the simple things simple, you know, and really get somewhere. But yeah, you know, the disappointing things about the game, I guess, is the fact that we did still have to rely on Son and Kane to get us out of a hole. But that's why he brings them. That's why he took them and had them on the bench. You know, I absolutely do agree that we need another striker, and we have needed a striker. And again, could be a whole video, right? But we desperately need another striker, and we have wanted to have a striker since Kane broke through. Because to be honest with you, it was at that point when Kane just started to break through that everyone was saying, "What are we doing, relying on just this kid? You know, this kid coming through. You know." We've losing Defoe, we're losing Keane, we're losing Adebayor, you know, Dempsey, all these players, and all we ended up left with was this young kid called Harry Kane. And to be fair, you know, he's pretty much saved us season after season because of his absolute ability and quality. And I think we're talking about getting someone in to support Kane when Kane was really the support that we were all moaning about. So, you know, it's funny how things kind of turn around. But you've got to get the right player, you've got to get the right person. And I think Jose is absolutely right when he says he doesn't want someone who thinks they're going to come in and play second fiddle to Kane. He wants someone who's going to come in and say, I can play with Kane, or I can play instead of Kane. You know, he needs someone with that hunger and that desire. Finding someone of Kane's quality for the money that we're probably prepared to pay is the difficult bit, you know. And we've been linked with probably every striker around Europe. And to be honest with you, half of them I've never heard of. Right? And that's because I'm not very good. I'm not very good at talent spotting around other clubs, because I don't watch other clubs' football and I don't watch other teams, and I certainly don't watch European football. So, you know, I'm no expert on who we should get in, but at the same time, yeah, I know we need somebody, but it's who you can get, and I'm pretty sure that a striker is on the shopping list. But then if you're able to get hold of Gareth Bale at the same time as when you're buying one of the best left backs around, or the most quality prospects around, then to be honest with you, you know, that's a result that you can't turn down. I mean, most fans have been calling for Bale to come back since he left. So, you know, it'd be pretty stupid for us not to pick the guy up, wouldn't it, really? So, you know, I think we're doing decent business from that point of view, getting in the right kind of players that Jose wants. And if they're the players that Jose wants, then I'm happy with that. All I want is the manager to get the players that he wants, not the players that we can afford. You know, if that's the case. But we're lucky that we have got, you know, getting back to the game, we're lucky that we have got Kane and we have got Son to be our saviours, because there's lots of clubs that didn't have that would have had their first team out there that would have struggled. So, you know, let's face it, it's always going to be a difficult game. When you go abroad to these minnows as such, which aren't minnows really, I mean, they're the teams in their countries, you know, these are professional sports people, you know, playing the game. And if you've got someone coming to you who you idolise, who's a fantastic player, you know, England captain and all these people, you know, you're going to raise your game. I mean, I can remember years ago watching Stevenage play Newcastle in Stevenage, and this young guy stepped up and he smashed a header in. Can't think what his name was. He was Italian descent, so he had a real Italian name, and he was you know, he ran out and he scored this header, and this is in a game against Newcastle, Alan Shearer's Newcastle. You know, nobody expected him to do that. Nobody expected him to do this, but he did, because they raised their game in that sort of match. You know, that's what happens. So, you know, I don't think we can be too hard on the team and expect that every team you come up against, if they're not in the Premier League, they're just gonna roll over for you. They're not. You know, that's why you have the term giant killer. That's why you have these sort of underdogs and all that. That's why these teams are still in it, still in these competitions. Because if they wasn't, it wouldn't bring that excitement. So, you know, I don't think we can go. Oh, ambulance! Don't think we can go too mad and put our team down too bad over it. I think ultimately it was always going to be a difficult game. We're going through a difficult period, game after game after game. Jose's trying to juggle the squad to cover it all off, and you know, it is what it is. But we got the result. We got the result. Sonny gives his masterclass again, you know, because the guy is absolute quality. So, you know, I don't think we're lucky. I think we're fortunate, but we're fortunate for the right reasons. And I think, you know, if we're building a squad that's capable of competing on all these competitions, then that's all for the good, you know. So, yeah, I don't know whether I've said pretty much the same as I said last night, but I just wanted to kind of have a bit of a different slant on it, a bit more of a thought about it as the day's gone on. I've kind of had a think about it and you know, view of whether I'm satisfied or happy or whatever. And, you know, I'm never going to be satisfied, because I want us to challenge, I want us to smash everybody, you know. But at the same time, I think, you know, you've got to be fairly grateful for getting through the tie, on to the next one, and let's see what happens at that, and let's see how far we can go. You know, Jose's played in his competition twice, he's won it twice. Can we make it 3 times lucky? Let's hope so. Up the Spurs.